The Green Talons coming at you with a new video pertaining to Week 8 of the NFL. The Philadelphia Eagles battled the Dallas Cowboys, won the game 23-6. I think that's what the score was. But overall, the game up to the first, second, and third quarter was a complete disaster. The Eagles couldn't even get anything generated on offense. They were able to get themselves a touchdown, or actually it won, a touchdown. I think the first half, and in the other second half, the defense was able to save the Eagles. The defense saved them once again, despite all the offensive mishaps. Carson went through for less than 40 attempts, less than 30 completions for 193 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. And he also fumbled the ball as well, so let's not forget that. He also fumbled the football. So, in all retrospect, it's the offensive line. They keep mismatching them. They're not able to get themselves one group of 5 men other than Jason Kelsey to protect Carson Wentz's backside, or in blind side, in back and in blind side for that matter. Peters can't stay healthy. The man is in out the lineup. You already have Lane Johnson, whose season is not over with, but he won't be back until after the bye. Deshaun Jackson got hurt a game ago, and his season ended. When this season actually ended, but he's gonna be out for a few weeks, and should be back after the bye week, or a couple games after the bye week. I'm not exactly sure what his status is, but he did hurt his ankle, and he also got hit, a bad hit, not to mention. So the defense was able to get a couple of sacks, it's either 2 sacks or 3 sacks, someone up in there. BG had 7 sacks for the year, but he's on pace for double-digit sacks. He should have 10 or more sacks before the end of his season come to an end. And Cox also have 2 or 3 sacks, someone up in there as well. He's on pace to have 5 or 6 sacks before the year come to an end. Wet had 3 sacks, and one of the other guys got 3 sacks. So I mean, overall, this is a pretty good, I'm not gonna say a productive defensive line, but the defensive line is doing what they do best, and I have to get the initial push to get to the quarterback. But the offense is still giving us problems. They are still continuing to do a bunch of mishaps at far and protecting Carson Wentz's blind side, back side, front side, his whole side, whatever, because the man is still throwing interceptions and he's still fumbling the football. But the pick that he threw into the end zone, that was his fault. He should have known not to throw that ball that far deep into the end zone and not expecting a cornerback or a safety to cover the receiver. And so that was his fault there. He should have known better than to throw that. And the second fumble that he threw was not his fault. That ball should have been caught. It was tipped and caught by the defensive back. So overall, the production wise, it's like the offensive line don't know who to pick up. They don't know who to block. So all season, teams have been doing it. The New York Giants have done it before they played the Cowboys. Baltimore did it. Pittsburgh did it. The Bengals did it. The Washington Redskins did it. All the games that the Eagles have played, them 4 losses, is the reason why the Eagles lost those games. Because they're not able to pick up the right protection scheme. They're not able to pick up the right blitzer. So, and that's one problem right there. And that's Mike Sanders, who missed the last couple of games because of an injury as well, who should be back also after the bye week. Because at my point, I thought he was going to be on pace to have more rushing yards and become the rushing champion. That won't be the case today or this year. So maybe next year will be the year he becomes Russian champion. But this year won't be because he has had back-to-back injuries where he missed a lot of games due to injury. So the only running back we got is Boston Scott, and Boston Scott can only do as much as he can. So the Eagles have a running back by committee with Boston Scott leading the way. The Eagles have plenty of opportunity to grab a running back off the waiver wire, but for some odd reason, a lot of these running backs off the waiver wire probably have a salary cap number that prevent the Eagles from even taking a second look at them. Like Devontae, what the boy named Devontae, the former running back for the Falcons. The Eagles was on pace to get him, but he wanted a 1 year deal, like $7 or $8 million. The Eagles weren't going to give him that kind of money to be a backup running back. That's 1 year, a 1 year deal, 1 year, 6, 7, 8 million. That's actually a starter's money for that 1 year. So the Eagles won't forget that man that kind of money. So that's why he never came to the Eagles in the first place. But the New York Giants got him, and now he's on injured reserve. So I mean, a lot of things is going on with the team. So that's why I am so glad that the bye week has came. I'm so glad that the bye week has came, because for super fact is now there's a lot of things the Eagles need to clear up. First of all, they need to get the offensive line together. They need to figure out who's going to be the right tackle, who's going to be the left tackle, who's going to be the left and right guard. So Kelsey can call the right plays and get the right protection schemes for Carson Wentz to have some protection, so he can get the ball out of his hands to a wide out or a tight end that's on pace to catch the ball. You need to also call the right plays for the running game, because Boston Scott has got no more than 4 or 5 yards. And he has not busted any long runs because teams are not afraid of the run game. When you don't have that threat in the backfield, teams are not going to be afraid. So that made the Eagles one dimension all season. The last 4 or 6 games, the last 4 or 6 games the Eagles played this year, they have not scared no teams with the running game. That's why they either lost or tied. That's why I said 4 or 6, because the 5th one was the tie. The Eagles running game did not scare the Bengals. It didn't scare Pittsburgh. It didn't scare Baltimore. It didn't scare Washington. And it most definitely didn't scare the New York Giants. And these are teams that we should have beaten. We should have beaten Washington in week 1. But the Eagles had a lack of their own running game. So when like I said, no running game, you can't play action pass. No running game, you can't stand clear in the pocket and pick your poison downfield to get rid of the football. With no running game, you can't stand in the pocket clear, survey the field, and get the ball out. All of this is predicated on the running game. No running game, none of these things can't happen, because when you run the football, the protection schemes on the offensive line is a whole lot better. People don't see that, but that's the way it's predicated. When you protect the football, when you get the running game going, you can protect the football, you can get the ball out of your hands, or you can ditch it to the running back, or you can toss it for a screen pass to get 7 or 8 yards up the field for a first down, or 4 or 5 up the field close to the first down. Or you can get 5 yards and limit your second and long, your third and long, and your fourth and long, which leads you to pump the football back to the opposing team. So that is going to be the formula in this bye week. They're going to have to get some protection schemes right. They're going to have to get the offensive line, the right guys to play this offensive line. Now, Jason Peters. When he started the season, they brought him in to play guard, and he gained weight to play the position. They gave him a little bit more money to play left tackle. He got hurt in week 1 and spent a long time out and came back in the New York Giants game and got hurt again. Lane Johnson in and out of the lineup because of this ankle injury that he had suffered in week 1 against the Washington Redskins. So if you really look at it, the overall season, most of the injuries occurred in week 1 against the Washington Redskins because they weren't able to protect Carson Wentz. They kept bringing 4-man rushers. They kept bringing blitzes. So when you do this, the quarterback can't separate the field. That makes him a very, very good rush in his head to get the ball out. And if he don't get the ball out of his hands, he's gonna take a sack or he's gonna fumble the football. One or two is gonna occur in that backfield. One or two. And since he can't see the field, but Carson Wentz's situation though is that his situation is quite different because it's like he can't see. Like I said, he can't see the field, so they give him the opportunity to throw the ball out of bounds, which is what he had been having issues with all season, which led to those 12 and 13 interceptions. Because teams have figured out what to do up front on defense. They rush 4, and if they can't rush 4, they'll bring a timely blitz to get into the backfield for the run game or the passing game. 1 or 2. I mean, if you watch this whole first half of this season, all these teams have bought timely blitzes. They have rushed 4 or they have rushed 3. The 2 teams the Eagles faced this year were the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Them 2 teams run the 3-4 defense. Their linebackers are the key. If you don't block at least one of their linebackers, you're gonna miss. And Carson Wentz gonna get hit. He's gonna get sacked. He's gonna fumble the football, or he's gonna rush to get the ball out so fast. The ball is gonna get tipped, or it's gonna get picked by the offender, by the defender, or it's gonna get knocked out of bounds. And there we go for first, for second, and third, and fourth, and long situations. I mean, this is what I've seen all year. And I'm not going to point fingers because in all my videos that I made this year, from week 1 to week 7 to now week 8, I have not pointed no fingers at nobody. I'm just making all this a team standard because that's what it is. It's a team effort. When one man messes up, the whole team looks bad. But when one man gets his act together and get the ball out, it makes the whole team look better. So that's what it really predicates. You can't blame one man for the loss. You can't. There ain't no such thing. When one man lost, the team lose. Or when the team lose, the coaching staff lose. And when the coaching staff and the team lose, the whole organization and fan base lose, because the fan base is another situation. I'm gonna say this right here, and I seen this online today, or a meme for that matter, and they were saying that if Carson Wentz don't get his act together, the Boo Birds are gonna come out, or they're gonna be screaming for Jalen Hurts, who has no experience to run an offense. He has been here and there playing either Wildcat, or he been running the football and passing it short distances to get first downs, which is kind of good because sometimes you need that spark to get the offense going. And that has helped sometimes, but teams have also caught on to that now. So they now know when number 2 is on the field, they're going to be full aware, and they're going to bring 6 and 7 down linemen in the box, because Jalen Hurts is more likely to run the football than pass, and teams know that. So you're gonna start seeing 5, 6, and 7 men fronts when Jalen Hurts out there on the field. And when you bring those kind of men up the field, that leaves the DBs out in the open, so you can get the ball out. get the ball out, toss it, first down, or toss it long, touchdown. So maybe that's what the offense need. But I'm not gonna sit up and say Jason Hurts is the problem solver, because he's not. The problem solver is the offensive play calling, which means that Peterson needs to get better with the play calling. He needs to make sure that the offense is in position to make plays down the field for first down and for second and third and short yard situations. Because if we keep getting in 7, 8, 9, and 10, or we get sacked, or the running back goes down for a loss, that's going to make it more than 10 yards. And that's going to put you in long situations where the opposing defenders can sit back in zone coverage. And they can pick the ball out when the ball comes out the quarterback's hands. So there needs to be a change in the play calling, because I thought this year that Doug Peterson was going to come up with some new plays, because these RPOs, I mean, the college runs RPOs. So Doug Peterson has a college offense. And if you look at Andy Reid's offense, Andy Reid is not a college offense. His offense is predicated off the run game. He has better protection schemes. That's why the Kansas City Chiefs are good as they are, because the offensive line know who to block and when to block and how to block to protect their quarterback. The Eagles' offensive line, they got different players in position to block, but these guys can't block because the offensive line do not know who to pick up and block. That's why you're seeing linebackers and defensive ends, defensive tackles, safeties, and cornerbacks coming at Carson Wentz or at the run game for losses. When Carson Wentz gets sacked, that's a loss. When the running game gets tackled in the backfield, that's a loss. So all this got to change. It got to change in this bye week. I mean, everything is predicated on this bye week, which means that the next game they play against the New York Giants, and they played the Giants 2 weeks ago. I think probably gonna be 3 weeks ago. They gotta go into New York, because they gotta go New York at MetLife Stadium and beat the New York Giants, and we all know that the Giants is hard to beat in their own stadium. So I hope that Peterson got some new play calls, and I hope he can get the offensive line in shape, ready to block, because the Giants are also a 3-4 defense, and they're going to get better as time progresses. They run a 3-4. They got a good tight end, one of the best tight ends in the game, in Ingram. The guy is one of the best. The boy is 6'4", 240 or 50-some pounds, and had the speed of a wide receiver. He one of the best tight ends in the game. And this is his third year. So we got to face that guy. Then we got to face the other wide receiver. I think what is it, Sheridan? I think that's the other wide receiver name. Then they got another wide receiver. So the Giants are predicated and set up at a wide receiver tight end position. That Saquon Barkley is out for the year now. That Saquon Barkley was played the Eagles this past couple of weeks ago. I don't know if the Eagles would have won the game or if the Eagles would have lost the game. It's kind of hard to say. But they have a lack of run game thereof. But they do have a running back by the name of Gallman. Gallman is a good running back. He's a good one. He's a 6'3", 240-some pound running back who can run straight forward straight for first and down. The guy's pretty good. Like I said, Giants they got a pretty good offensive line. The offensive line is not the best, but they got a young offensive line that's going to get better with time. So the Eagles going to have to beat the Giants week after this week to at least be 4-4. The Eagles have a chance to win this division. They have a chance. But after the New York Giants, the schedule gets tougher. They got to play Seattle. They got to play a couple more teams in that same division. So in the NFC North, they play the NFC North. They played the 49ers and won. They got to play Seattle, and they got to play the other two teams in the same division, and they also in this schedule they'll be playing. So it's gonna be a tough schedule, a tough stretch, and I'm not gonna say what I reckon going to be. We could be 9-6-1, or we could be 8-7-1, or we could be 10-5-1. It all depends on how well the Eagles play in the second half of this season. That's what it's going to depend on, because teams know we have one of the better front fours in the game. They know we lacking the skills at linebacker, and they know we lacking the skills at the DBs. They know it. That's why our teams are passing for 200, 300, and 400 yards on us every week. Because we're weak in the linebacker and we're weak in the defensive back rotation. We're weak. Like I said before, I'm not pointing no names. I'm not pointing no fingers. I'm not even screaming no names, because this is a whole team effort. That's what it depends on. The team got to get better after this week. They got to. Because it depends on who they play, depends on the protection scheme, depends on the running game, and depends on the play calling, defense, and offense. Speaking of the defense, Jim Schwartz. This guy does not make changes in his in his defense. He don't make changes, probably because he had no lack of skill as a defensive back and the linebacker rotation. We got two linebackers, that's Alex Singleton and T.J. Edwards. Now those guys are up and rising stars, but they're still weak at one other linebacking position. Who they need to figure out some way to get that going, because if they don't find ways to get to the quarterback in these last 8 games of the season, we won't have a chance in hell of making the playoffs. And even if we do get to the playoffs, we're going to be a first-round exit. And it depends on who we play in the first round, the wild card. That's what it depends on. This year it's going to be an extra game. So instead of it being 6, it's going to be 8 games. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be 8 teams per division this year. 18 per division. So that's a good thing, because of this COVID-19 thing that when the COVID-19 virus is going on, teams have been shutting down their facilities, have been closing down, because players and coaching staffs and members of the organization are getting the virus. So that's why everything the way it is now. With hardly nobody in the stadium, they're slowly and surely letting players, they're slowly and surely letting people into the stadium now, but it's still a stretch, still a long stretch when it comes to going watching your team play, because some of these guys are season ticket holders. They're losing money because they can't get into the stadium and watch their team play. So maybe the organization giving them guys refunds. I don't know. I'm only seeing and hearing through word of mouth or through social media. So it's so much to think about. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video, because I've already spoke my piece for this team. I spoke my piece, and I'm tired of what I've seen in the first half of this season. Offensive line not protecting. Carson Wentz can't see the field, so he's throwing interceptions and he's throwing balls out of bounds, and he's missing open receivers, and the running game is not going. So it's only so much. And Jim Schwartz is not making the correct adjustments after halftime. That needs to change in the second half of this season, because if not, teams are going to find ways to pick us apart. And it starts with the New York Giants. That's what it starts with. It starts with next week, next Sunday. It starts with the New York Giants. We got to protect Carson Wentz and the running game a whole lot better. Ted Kelsey's always calling the correct protection schemes get to the offensive line. The other 4 guys that's with him got to protect and pick up the right players so Carson Wentz can have a clean pocket and he can survey the field and get the ball out. All this predicates into this offseason, to the offseason, or better yet, the bye. All this adjustment to the bye. This got to change. This got to change. And I'm really tired of seeing what I'm seeing in the first half of this year. We're not playing a consistent football because we have a lack of running game thereof. When you run the football, you can play consistent football all the way. But if you can't run the football, you ain't gonna play no consistent ball. You ain't gonna play it. Because teams are gonna know where to get you at all costs. They're gonna know. So you got to run the football. It's a must this second half of the season. If Peterson don't call no run plays, he better call some dink and dunks where the ball can get out his hands in a hurry, keep him from getting hit, getting popped, getting knocked down, and getting sacked, keeping him from fumbling the football, keeping him from throwing the interceptions. Because the guy had 12 or 13 or 14 interceptions this season, which is a career high and the league high. They got to change in this second half. Got to change. And I'm getting tired of seeing this. So anyway, that's all I got to say. Hope you guys enjoyed my video. Thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe to my channel, and let me know what you think about the video. This is your boy, the Green Talons Corner Crew. Peace.